most admirable chasers you could possibly wish to see.
Welcome to the Racehour podcast in association with Bet365, the home of the position payout. I'm Rory Jiwani, and thanks for joining us for our third weekend preview podcast of the new jumps season. The big race of the day is the Betfair Chase at Haydock, but we'll also be looking at 4 other races on Saturday, including 2 Grade 2 contests at Ascot. Delighted to be joined by 3 of the sharpest minds in the business who'll be marking your card. Racing broadcaster Ed Quigley, Dancing with the Stars hopeful and Gambling.com tipster Gary Connolly, and Bet365 guru Pat Cooney. Welcome to you all. Before we get stuck into the action, a very quick explanation of the position payout. This is Bet365's alternative to each-way betting. Very useful for backing horses that never quite seem to get their heads in front. In a nutshell, you'll get paid out more for second place than the place part of the standard each-way bet. And where there are extra each-way places, the position payout follows suit. We'll keep you posted when you can get stuck into the position payout and when it might be worth doing so over the course of the show. First up, 1:30 at Ascot, the Grade 2 Ladbrokes 1965 Chase over 2 miles and 5 furlongs. Pic D'Orhy bids for a unique hat-trick of victories, which would give Paul Nicholls a 10th win in the race. But former King George runner-up Il Est Français, now trained by Tom George, is the 2-1 favourite. He's the highest-rated horse and gets weight pretty much all round. Ground-wise, good to soft, bit of rain due on Saturday morning, but nothing too much to worry about. Ed, let's start with you. I mean, based on the figures, does Il Est Français look a decent price here?
There is a strong argument for that, Rory. You're quite spot on. Yeah, due to the penalty structure, he's kind of escaped everything by running in France, isn't he? And he's in receipt of £6 from Master Chewy, who he's already £8 superior to on official rating. So he's a stone better than Master Chewy. And he's obviously well off at the weights of Pic D'Orhy as well. This is very much Pic D'Orhy's kind of Gold Cup, isn't it? 4 from 5 over this C&D. Won this race multiple times, including last year. And then you've got the unknown quantity, I suppose, in regards to Gidley Park, 233-day layoff. I mean, I'm just interested listening to Harry Fry said he doesn't know what the horse's trip is, what ground he wants, whether he wants to go right-handed or left-handed. I thought, well, if the trainer doesn't know, doesn't really fill punters with much kind of hope. But I think Gidley Park's probably versatile in that regard. And then you've got Django Bay, Nicky Henderson saying this is very much a prep run with the King George in mind and going up to 3 miles. Has had a wind operation, had an injury after Aintree, so may just need the run. So it does kind of open the door, doesn't it, to Il Est Français? And it's not normally my modus operandi to be getting really excited about a 2-1 poke, but there is an argument on the figures. He should be shorter. Again, it's just only those close to the yard will know horses, how forward have they got him in regards to clearly Kempton in a month's time is going to be the be-all and end-all for him. That is his Gold Cup, isn't it? He ran so well in the King George last year. So a load of word salad. So I am with Il Est Français, but I'm scratching my head a little bit here with who's who and what's what. And there are obviously horses who, it's a shame because it is a Grade 2 in itself. It's a very good race in itself, but I get the feeling there are the view of looking further ahead, especially with Django Bay and potentially Il Est Français as well. So, if press ganged, I am in agreement with you there, Rory. I would be with the ex-French raider.
Gary, what do you reckon? Il Est Français, one to take on, perhaps?
Nah, this is straightforward enough for all the reasons given. Highest rate in the field, getting weight, track will suit, ground will suit. You love it around here. I think you just go off in front, as we've seen at Kempton, and put them to the sword. I think he'd be forward enough. He goes well fresh as well. That wouldn't be a concern for me. We won't have him in the King George again now. He is soft, and that trip just the petrol goes empty when he's coming out of his last 2. This is his ideal trip, I think. They should have made this move a bit earlier. But round tracks like this, right-handed, he's going to be very tough to beat throughout the season. Like 2-1 looks value to me, to be honest. And getting weight off this field, I think he'll point and shoot him in front and he won't be caught. Wins.
Pat, similar opinion from you?
Yeah, I've ended up thinking that way, Rory, to be honest with you. I did, when Pictori ran well in our Bet365 Charlie Hall chase when he was second over 3 miles, Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden said, yeah, we'll be back at Ascot in November, and it'll take a good one to beat him. Well, there is a good one in the race, isn't there? It's Le Francais, and he's getting £6. I mean, that looks like gold dust to me. I presume Le Francais will go tearing off in front, and Pictoria just sitting behind him. But he's a hard horse to catch, Hilly Francis. And my one worry is that he has got the odd dreadful run into his name when he's pulled up and things haven't gone quite right for him. But if that's the only reason why he should be less than more than 2-1, I don't really see it. I think you just have to keep coming back saying, look, he's getting £3 from Django By, 3 from Gidley Park, 6 from the other two. I'd actually fancy him off levels to win this race. So I'm with the other guys. I'll take Illy Francais and win this one.
Yeah, just 5 runners in that race. We've gone through them all. And as you say, he's getting weight all round. It's 2-1 does look interesting. But as you say, there are doubts over how fully forward he will be. And the King George might well be the target. So that's the opener on this show at Ascot. We go over to Haydock for the Betfair Exchange graduation chase over 2 miles, 5.5 furlongs. Won last year by Kim Bailey's Trelawn. Runner-up Iroko back for another go. He's the 11-4 second favourite. But the odds-on jolly is the Jukebox Man, trained by Ben Pauling. Going-wise, Haydock good to soft. Not very often we say that about Haydock on Betfair Chase Day. And it looks like it will be dry. Gary, let's start with you. Is the Jukebox Man a good thing here?
He looks it now, but price-wise, he's very short, isn't he? And he's coming back from his injury and stuff like that. It's good to see him back. Like, he did look a very exciting prospect last year. Reportedly, he's in good health here coming here, so he should be. He's not going to be fully tuned up, but he probably do himself justice. But just a late to 13, coming back from the injury, it's going to be used as a stepping stone for the King George from as well. Hope he wins. Too short to back, so he won't carry my cash, but be good to see him back on the racetrack.
Do you think anything else could get involved at a price? Anything to chase him home, or not really?
Not really, yeah. It doesn't look a strong contest. He's either, if he's 80% there, he should beat this lot. So it's not one I'd get involved in as a race. It's just watching brief.
Yeah, Pat, do you have any view on this one?
Yeah, I'm with Gary, but I just presume the Jukebox Man will probably win. The King George is his target and has been for a long, long time. So he's going to be fit and ready with the King George only a month away. When your second favourite's Iroko, who surely he's going to be at his peak in April for the Grand National. So how fit and ready he's going to be in mid-November when his target's in April remains to be seen. And Iroko, I like the horse. His first run since the Windop, but the stable I was just looking at, have had one winner from 23 runners in the last fortnight, so they're not exactly flying along. Butch hasn't run for 10 months. Nappers Hill 740 days. And the outside of the field is Mr. Hope Street. And it's not often the Skeltons have the rank outsider in a race, but he's there for a reason. He's got an awful lot to find, but he might just be one if you fancy a forecast. I presume he'll be fit at least, and maybe the Jukebox Man will probably win. King George Aspirations, as I say, he's 12-1 as we speak for that. But of the others, I'd have to be negative about the next 3 in the market. So you kind of are left with him, I think.
Yeah, Ed, the Jukebox Man, yay or nay?
Yes, on balance by process of elimination. Very much tune up for the King George. I actually think Butch is probably the biggest danger here. I think Nappers Hill 2-year layoff, big worry. Iroko, how do I say this? I don't think they'll. If he jumps around to 3rd or 4th, that's fine with Aintree in mind. Mr. Hope Street's got £24 to find. Butch has an outrageous record fresh, and Ollie Murphy and Sean Bowen continue just to keep firing in the winners. Butch, his wins come on the back of 82-day breaks, 180-day breaks, and he won after 315-day break last season. So he's probably the here and now horse, if you see what I'm saying. Whereas there are others, again, Grand Nationals, King Georges, etc., on their mind. And to say the way Sean Bowen's riding at the moment, I won't put anyone off. So that's probably the reverse forecast angle for me, Jukebox Man and Butch. But I won't be going overboard with the betting purse on this race.
No, hard to get really involved in a contest like this, certainly as a betting heat. But Butch, he's 11-1 at the moment.
Yeah,
and
probably a bit overpriced. I think that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And just looking at him on the position payout, for a £10 stake, you get back £76 if he finishes first and 24 if he finishes second. Yeah, it could be interesting, but as you say, hard to oppose the favourite in that one. We move on to a much more competitive betting heat. Staying at Haydock, the 225. It's the Betfair Stayers handicap hurdle over 3 miles and half a furlong. Now, Irish Raiders have won the last 2 renewals with Charles Burns shoot first, bidding for a repeat win. It's a wide open heat. Emma Lavelle's Marchantou, the 5-1 favourite. 18 runners, and Bet365 are going 5 places each way, and 5 places on the position payout. Pat, this looks like the betting contest of the day. What have you seen money for in this one?
Well, the market mover has been Hartington of Joe Tizard, and if you like your stables in form, much as centred on how well the Skeltons are going, but I would counter that and say the Tizard stable are flying along. They've had a 30% winning strike rate in the last couple of weeks, and that some of them have been at Cheltenham as well, so they're not winning at the minor races. Hartington has been the big mover, and Sean Bowen, a rare ride for the stable. I think that's very significant, and that's been the market mover, particularly since the Sean Bowen booking. And, with only 10 stone 5, I could see that one shortening up even more. He only went up £3 for his win last time, so I think there's more to come. He's no evidence over this trip as of yet, but you watch him run and you think, oh, that won't be an issue. I don't think stamina will be an issue to get him beat. So you'd have to like Hartington, Sean Bowen 10-5 for a stable going great guns. At the top end of the handicap, you've got Marchantou. He won a good race, I thought, at Cheltenham last time, but he did go up 9 for it. And I suppose that's fair enough. You win a competitive race at Cheltenham. And he always looked in control that day, but he did go up 9. Ace of Spades, on the other hand, he only went up 3 for his win at Aintree. So he's got his handicap claims. But I keep coming back to Hartington with only 10 stone 5 and maybe more to come at the trip. So I think he might just be the one that goes off favourite there.
So, Hartington for you, Pat. Gary, Charles Burns' horse is always worth a look in the market. Can Shoot First win again, or is there something else you like?
He has his chance. I didn't think he'd go in last year with the way the ground was, so this ground will suit him a lot more, but he's probably a bit too high in the weights now, I think. It's a competitive race, like it's a cracking betting heat. I like Joyo Mashin. I butchered the name there. Apologies, at a double figure price for the Skeltons. This fella, he was in receive a couple of questionable rides, we'll say, last season. Probably unlucky not to get his head in front. Stepped up to 3 miles, which I think will suit. He looks well handicapped. Slight negative for me is Harry Skelton's chosen the stablemate, Ace of Spades. So we have Harry Atkins on him, who's claiming 7. So we'll take that as a bit of a compromise. I'd like to see a bit more rain arrive from him. But he looks like he's primed for a big race. There is a big handicap in him. Whether it's this one or not, I'm not sure. But at the double figure price, I'll take a chance.
Yeah, so the Skelton second string for Gary. Ed, what do you reckon?
Yeah, incredibly wide open, isn't it? Marchantou been very popular since this market was priced up. The Connections trying to do the Paisley Park route, aren't they? Emma Lavelle won this in 2018, and then Paisley Park went on to win the Stayers. Just kept progressing. Well, if you believe you got a Stayers hurdle horse, then Marchantou's the good thing of all good things off 138, is it? Isn't that the case? As Pat says, got up £9 for that win. I think there are others in here who could easily give that horse a race. I do like Hartington. Pat alluded to the trip. Crikey, if you've ever seen a horse who wants 3 miles, that is it. I mean, if you go back to that Carlisle run, I thought he was going to drop out the back of the television, going up and down spot 4 out. It was just sheer stamina, which got him up over 2.5 that day. Sean Bowen doing down 10 stone 5, booked for the Tizard team. Yeah, he looks the knocking each way play, doesn't he? It's 6-1. He's got to be in the mix. So, yeah, Hartington would be my on top selection. Did just want to give a nod, though, to Esprit du Potier for the Lucinda Russell Scudamore team. Thoroughly unexposed in here off 126. This was a horse who was really thought of, regarded in the kind of novice hurdle days. Hacked up on the bit in Newcastle, then went to the Grade 1 behind Brighter Days Ahead in Aintree, and then suffered a setback in the process of running in that race. Been off the track for 500 plus days until running, I thought, with plenty of credit on the comeback trail at Ayr only 3 weeks or so ago. Finished fourth, quite simply got tired on the back of being off for so long. She's strict fitter for that outing, and I thought, in terms of putting my long shot goggles on, Rory, wouldn't be shocked off 126 if that horse had more to offer. But yeah, I'm concentrating on the bottom of the weight, and I think Hartington, very solid. Been crying out for 3 miles, and naturally Bowen and Tizard, a very informed combination.
Absolutely. So 5 places each way for that race, 18 runners in that handicap hurdle. As you say, if Marchand 2 is a world stayers hurdle contender, then 138's a
See
bit
you
of a
later,
blot.
yeah. Don't bother running the race, just hand it up. Yeah.
We actually stick to hurdles. We're off to Ascot this time for the 240, the Grade 2 Ascot hurdle, 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs. Won last year by Nicky Henderson's Lucky Place. We have a warm 5-4 favourite in Gordon Elliott's mare Wadhu, who was second to Lossiemouth when last seen in the Aintree hurdle. That was after winning the Martin Pipe at the Cheltenham Festival. Potter's Charm for the Twiston Davis team is next best at 5-1. 9 run here. Gary, Wadhu looks short enough, does she? But is she the class of the field?
Yeah, like this is some stink bag race, isn't it? It's like I don't think many of you suited by the trip, and those that aren't very good. So she could lap this lot. Like she's different gears, isn't she? Only horse to beat her in the last 8 runs is a Lossiemouth. Like that form is just rock solid, well clear of these. She's sidestepped the Hat and Grace next week for this. Like I can't see how she's getting beat here. It's like she's different gears to this lot. So Irish Raider goes in.
There we go. Bullish from Gary. Ed, do you think the same about Wadhu?
Yeah, most likely winner, credibly progressive, as Gary says. Only found Lossiemouth too good at Aintree. That form in itself, if she could run to that level, probably would be good enough to see off the field here. She might not need to eke out much more improvement. She's in plenty of receipt of weight, isn't she? And you also got to remember, she is only 5. So you'd be shocked if you've seen the ceiling of her ability, wouldn't you? Considering we've got 11-year-olds in here and 8 rising 9s, etc. So I think she's the obvious winner. I think Potter's Charm's got unfinished business over hurdles. He was very good at the start of last season. I actually don't think he's a million gazillion to make up into a stayers hurdle contender. Came back in the West Yorkshire hurdle over 3 miles at Wetherby and fell at the second flight or whatever. I think they'll just be looking for a nice confidence booster here before going to the Long Walk hurdle or the Cleve hurdle. That's what connections have suggested. And the rest do look a bit of just a bunch where you know where you are with them, I suppose, to a large extent. Crambo's the absolute joker in the pack. It'd be remiss if we didn't talk about him because he's never lost a race at Ascot. He's 3 from 3. He's won over course of distance. Obviously, his peak form has come over further, but I think he is a bit of a law unto himself. And he seems to run 8 to 10 pounds better here than he does anywhere else. So he might not be the daftest one to kind of run on and pick up the pieces. But yeah, I think this is very much going with the market. I think Wadhu beats Potter's Charm.
Pat, can you oppose the favourite here?
Well, I'm a bit how you started, Roy. You think 5-4, really? And then you think, well, yeah, just for what the guys have been saying. And she's only 5. And I never really took her seriously when she started all these wins because I thought she was really well placed. And I was still none the wiser as to how good she was. But, her last run was a career best, the second to Lossiemouth. She gets the mares allowed. It's all there, really, isn't it? And it's one of those likely winner now. Are you going to lay or play at that price? I wouldn't want to lay her, that's for sure. I could definitely see her winning. One horse I would like is Potter's Charm, who he made his seasonal reappearance in the meeting we sponsored at Wetherby. And I was talking to Willie Twiston Davis, and they had real high hopes for him on that day. He fell early on in the race, I think about the 4th hurdle, but nothing wrong with him. He galloped around safe and sound. And, just on the way the Twiston Davis think about him, you could imagine him certainly running a good race at Ascot, maybe bustling up Wadhu. But I expect a solid run from him. Celtic Dino's one to take seriously. He's bringing handicap form to the table, but he does like good ground. And of course, he beat at Chepstow in October. Alexei trotted up next time out and was hugely impressive again last weekend. So he's bringing that good level of handicap form to the table. But I think it's behind Potter's Charm, and who's certainly behind Woodhoo. So I'd expect the mare to be very hard to beat. And again, she's going to be very popular in the market. I don't see too many bookmakers taking her on, really, put it that way.
Yeah, 9 runners, so it will be 3 places each way. 3 places on the position payout if you fancy opposing the favourite, but 3 out of 3 for Woodhoo there at Ascot. Now, back to Haydock for the feature race of the day. I mean, we haven't had that many betting heats. I think we've obviously got that handicap hurdle at Haydock, but they're quite small fields, the rest of them. And the Betfair Chase, another race, 5 runners. Grade 1, of course, over 3 miles and 1.5 furlongs. Royal Pagaille bidding for the hat-trick for Venetia Williams and Rich Ritchie. He just got the better of Grey Dawning 12 months ago, but Dan Skelton's 8-year-old is the favourite at 6-5 to go one better. You've also got Rebecca Curtis's National Hunt Challenge Cup and Irish Grand National winner, Haiti Couleur, next best at 100-30. Royal Pagaille, 5-1. Both previous renewals that he won was on softer going than this. Ed, will Grey Dawning get it done this time, do you think?
Not convinced. I think he's awfully short for a horse who's got one win in 20 months or thereabouts. And that win was beating Iroko, who's having a Grand National prep in a Mickey Mouse contest at Kelso. So, look, he runs to a half-decent level all the time, doesn't he? But he seems to just find ways to not win at the moment, Grey Dawning. He hasn't quite kicked on, I think, as connections hoped after his novice campaign. He was well held at Aintree after that. Obviously, he jumped the last in front in this last year in conditions which were absolutely bottomless. And the fact this could just be on the slow side of good to soft, you would imagine, is a fillip for him this time around. But, you know, made a mess of the King George, and then I thought it was a really weak Aintree run. Back end of the season, the race fell apart. I mean, it was absolute carnage in it. And he was well held by Gaelic Warrior, who is a very good horse, but it just seems to be the way with him at the moment. I get very nervous taking 6-5 about Grey Dawning. I think there's enough on his plate here. I think Haiti Couleur, incredibly progressive. Has won 5 of his last 6. Lovely comeback run over hurdles. Should be fit, sparkling. And handstands, I think, is the real joker in the pack. That's the bet for me here, Rory. I think this is a horse who's thoroughly unexposed. Only 6. Only had a handful of runs. Rattled up a hat-trick of wins last year, including all the form, which worked out really well. Beat Resplendent Grey. That horse has looked very good this season. And last year, of course, beat Django Bay, Caliph de Burley in the Scilly Isles chase, and obviously Django Bay went on to win the Arkle. So everything's kind of working out well. You can forgive his run at Aintree when Ben Paulding had a bit of a bug in the yard by all accounts, and I liked his comeback run for the fact, he was beaten, but that was a proper ring rust removal job. He wasn't in the process of running a great race at Wincanton when he fell last year, and then really stepped up. I think that will done him the world of good. I think he'll step up again here, and I would have the prices a bit closer together than they are. Just 6-5 Grey Dawning would get me nervous. Yes, official ratings, best horse, blah, 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 blah. I just like a few more ticks in the boxes for me personally. So no, I think handstand 6-1. The market's being a little bit dismissive of the youngest horse in the race, who is the most unexposed.
Yeah, with handstands and the jukebox man, Ben Paulding has 2 horses really to go to war.
The yard are on fire as well. Yeah. They really are. And the thing with this is this has been the target for ages with handstands. He's had the prep run. He'll be absolutely spot on for this. And I just think Grey Dawning's got a lot on his plate. Personally, that's probably the way I would frame the whole race. And I think handstands is dismissed in the market unfairly.
Pat, I say hasn't got the makings of a betting heat, but have you seen much money for any of the runners in this one?
Well, really, Grey Dawning has been popular. I mean, Dan Skelton has always said, look, he's going to run in the Betfair Chase, whatever. But, you look at some of his form, most of it's on softer. Now, I don't think it's going to be, Haydock heavy by any means. And on that basis, he's no gimme at round about 6-5, 5-4. I'm with Ed really. I can see more reasons to be against him at that price. I get it. He's top on ratings, stable of flying and everything, but not a gimme by any means, I don't think. And Handstands is interesting. You think, well, is 6-year-old too young? Well, Bristol Myers was a 6-year-old when he won it, so I don't think age is a barrier for him. It's just a fascinating race, really. Royal Beguile, he's won it for the last 2 years. That was on Haydock testing ground. That won't be the case. So I could imagine him drifting. Haiti Color is going to be popular with Sean Bowen in the plate, but 3 miles one, maybe even that's the minimum for him, because he did win the Irish Grand National over 4. I like that. So I'm left with the two outsiders, the outsiders as we speak, Handstands and Stellar Story. Both are moving up in trip. Now, Handstands is interesting in terms of how he's going to be ridden. He likes to make the running over 2.5. Will they let him bowl along over 3? And who knows if he's travelling well? I suppose he will. So I keep looking at the race, thinking, like Grey Dawn, I wouldn't be backing him at that price, not at all. And I see wisdom in opposing him. I do like Handstands. I think that brings that unknown quantity to the table, and he might just be quicker than the other 4. You never know. So I'm with Edward. Pair of us doing Handstands here at the moment.
Gary, trio of Handstands. I mean, Stellar Story.
Yeah,
doesn't is not one to be written off for Gordon Elliott. But can we are we taking on Grey Dawning as well?
No, I've got to just reference one of my favourite college lecturers. He always preached the KISS system. Keep it simple, stupid. Grey Dawn, highest rated, speedier horse in these stairs. He just got outstayed in the slog last year. The ground's right from Skelters are just winning everything on a Saturday. So just Grey Dawn and just wins. Like, there's plenty of shorties on the card that we've covered. Just throw them all in a little muggy jacket and sit back and watch.
So you're not swayed by any of the outsiders, Gary. You're all in on Grey Dawning.
All in a Grey Dawn. It just wins.
There we go. So that's the 5 big races, the 5 ITV races we've looked at for the show. Time to open this up. As I say, we haven't had many betting heats so far. Perhaps we might get one in another race elsewhere this weekend. So we'll look at some other action in Britain and Ireland, or you can stick to one that we've already looked at. Pat is the form man, 2 out of 2, after Meet Me by the Sea obliged at Wetherby last Saturday. Can he make it a hat-trick?
Well, the pressure's on, isn't it? I'm going to the lucky last at Ascot, absolutely doyen. Now, I did start off thinking, this is opposable, because he's got 12 stone in the race, but it's not your typical Ascot handicap hurdle by any means. And this fella, he's had 2 easy wins at Sedgefield and Stratford. He's been ridden by a couple of Freddies, Jingle and Keatley, in those 2 wins. And he's won okay. He didn't jump particularly well at Sedgefield last time, but I do note those 2 runs were left-handed, and his best run was actually at Huntingdon, which is right-handed. So I think going around Ascot right-handed will suit him. He's a horse very much in form, and he's got Paul Nicholls trained, and how Harry Cobden's riding for the first time. So however good the 2 Freddies are, and they're hugely promising, they're not Harry Cobden, so that's an even bigger bonus. So I'm getting Harry Cobden, a horse in form. He's probably going to be better going right-handed. He's got much more going for him than anything others in the race. So I'm going to wait for the lucky last at Ascot, the top weight, absolutely doyen.
There we go. Pat Cooney going for the hat-trick. Gary, what do you reckon? What's your nap of the weekend?
I'm going to the sunny Emerald Isle for mine on Saturday at Punchestown, 2:45. Horse called Stick With The Process for the legend that is Ted Walsh. He scored Maiden Company at Fairyhouse earlier in the month, and he's in here on a handicap off his same mark, 114. That same mark, he came second to a horse called Grand's Boy, now rated 130, and has won since. The 2 of them were 20 lengths clear the third. So looks well into me, and he can follow up his maiden victory. So stick to the process.
Stick to the process at Punchestown for Gary. Ed, what is your nap of the weekend?
I'll go for Handstands in a Betfair chase. I think he's unexposed, he's lightly raced, and I think he can really serve it up to them. And in regards to elsewhere and what we haven't mentioned, Venetia Williams. She's normally on fire at this time of year. She's been well out of form, not had a winner for a fortnight. This all changes in the 3:15 in the Banffy-Hurst Park Handicap Chase. Last year's winner, Martador, 3 from 3 over C&D. Won this race 12 months ago off a BHA rating of 140. Venetia removed the ring rush to Exeter in the Holden Gold Cup and has got the horse down to 139. Won this race by 11 lengths hard held with Ned Fox on board a year ago and is carrying less weight. Only Venetia can pull tricks like that. You do the maths. I think Martador, I think 6-1. Again, maybe I'm losing it, but it's an outrageously good each way play. Horse who's never lost there. Smashed the field to pieces 12 months ago. 10 runners. I'll be very disappointed if 3 can end ahead of Martador with a clear round. So, yeah, Martador in the 3:15 comes under the elsewhere next best category.
Yeah. So, Ed's is the 3:15 at Ascot, going for Venetia's Martador to win again. That's it for this week's Racehour podcast in association with Bet365, the home of the position payout. My thanks to Ed Quigley, Gary Connolly and Pat Cooney. I'm Rory Jiwani. Thanks for your company and good luck with your bets. We'll see you again next week.
Relentless, remorseless, and pounded towards that start.